Today, I'm going to talk to you guys about brushes in Photoshop and some of their importance and the different things that you can do with them. So, yesterday, you will have seen, or whenever I showed you, a little bit about using brushes. We used them to add things and take things away. Um, let's grab a new document right here, and you can give some. You can do some practice. So width 11 inches. You can always change that if you need to. Height 8.5. Resolution is always 300 because that is high res. And you can change the background to what color you want. I am going to put it in white. And I'm going to create. If you have grids on this, you can actually take them off by going to show and then taking off grid. So I've got this, and I can change the color down here first of all. So I don't have to keep black. I could go for orange, and I can change a few things about this. So I can go, this is a nice soft brush that is selected here under general brushes. And a soft brush looks like this. I can change the hardness of it, and you can give that a try. There's the hardness. I can actually flip the brush or I can turn it. So it's not so obvious right now, but for example, say I was using a grass brush um, and I wanted the brush, instead of being this direction, to be sideways, I could go in there and now you can see that that brush has changed shape. So those are some things I can do with brushes. Um, a reminder on how to load them. Anytime you want to change a brush head on a tool, you go to this little settings box right here and you can import brushes. And for example, like I have, this isn't even close to what I used to have. I had to get rid of them. There were so many. But these are examples of brushes that I have that I use all the time. And you can go to places and get your own brushes as well. So if you want to check out, I think that's how you spell it, Brush Easy. Yep, there we go. Um, you will find a lot of brushes on here. Some are going to be ones that you have to pay for, but most of them will not. And so you would then just go to, let's say I wanted um, a dog brush. Now, this is not necessarily giving me everything that I want. For example, um, I don't want these clip art things at the top. But then you can see that there are some ones in here of pets. There's fur, there's eyes. Um, and so let me just go. I'll go to the pet one right here. Doesn't look too bad. Free download. So I would like you to take a second right now to please find a brush that you like. You could type in anything for a brush and then download it. And I want you to practice installing it in Photoshop. So once you've got your download, um, it's going to show up here. It might show up as a folder or it might show up as a file that looks like this. And it will say brushes, and then you open it. And if you look at the bottom, you can see that there are a whole bunch of brushes. You can change the size of your brushes by hitting the bracket keys on the keyboard. This is a shortcut and it's way faster than other methods. So there's the brush for that cat right there. And you could also change the size up here, but it's kind of a pain. It's definitely easier to use the brackets to change things. You can change the opacity, so please give that a try as well. And so that will change the transparency. You can also change the flow. So the flow kind of refers to the amount of ink that comes out when you're doing a brush, and this will also make things look light. So I could have it on full opacity, but not a lot of ink is coming out, and I'll get something like that. There are advantages to doing it this way for certain techniques, but for now, I think just playing with the opacity and the flow are probably going to be good enough for you. You can, of course, as I said, change the color. And so now my cat's a different color. You can put your brushes on different layers. Oops, yes, I want to delete it. So if I hit this button right here, that's going to create a new transparent layer. And then I could do something like put another cat on that one, but it's on its own layer, so it can be moved or it can be layered. You can do what you would like with it. There's a few options for your brushes. Now, if I go back to brushes, there are even more modes. If I click on this folder right here, it will allow me to flip my brushes. You can change the spacing so that, for example, if it scatters, so this now, didn't work the way I wanted it. Usually with scattering, it will change it so that, I'm on a hidden layer. There's part of my problem. Now I'm holding the brush down right now, but you can see that it's scattering it, and it's scattering it with the same distance in between. And I'll just undo that. So you can change these settings as well. And that will change your brush as well. The only thing is that you do have to remember to take them off because the settings will stay, and it can be a little bit frustrating for your work later on if you've got those settings out like that. Those are the major things with simply the brush tool. However, you can change any of these things, any of these other tools into these shapes as well. So for example, for the smudge tool, normally it would be something like this round one right here. However, I could change it to a hairbrush, as you did when you guys were working on your animals. And when I do that, that's not the hair one I want. Hair and grass are probably the two brushes I use the very most. Oh, here we go. Now, your brushes may not look like this right here, and it might be kind of confusing you to find the brushes that you want. If your brush does not look like this right here, and instead it looks like a really long brush to the side, you can fix that as well. And then this is kind of sets up your computer so that you don't need to worry about it again. So you're going to go back up to here, and you're going to take off brush stroke, which is probably checked. And then you're going to click on brush tip. And now you're going to be able to see better what those brushes look like. So if you could please, for this assignment, you're going to play with different colors. You're going to play with different brushes. I want to see that you have loaded up your own brush in here, that you were able to download one and then add it to here via import brushes. I want you to try messing around with the opacity a little bit, and then please build up a scene. So for example, I could take this, and I could take some of my grass brushes. That looks like fire. That's because it is. Oh yeah. For example, I could go in here into the grass brushes, and I could start building a scene where I've got this grass. And then I add another layer and I add something new. So in the grass is going to go one of these pets. I will change it to, I don't know, blue. And I'm going to put it in the grass. However, I want the grass to be in front of it. So I'll just take this layer right here and I'll move it down, and now the grass is in front of it. And I could choose to put in like a sun and whatever it is as well, just making a scene, showing me that you understand how to use the brushes. And if you could please load this up when you are done, that would be awesome.